Just like how Toyota launched the Lexus brand in 1989 to break into the luxury market, Hyundai has finally rebranded all of the luxury cars under the Genesis name. This is the Genesis G90, which is a replacement for the Hyundai Equus. This is the flagship sedan, and so on the website, they've actually compared this to the Lexus LS side by side. So today we're going to take a look to see what it's like to drive Hyundai's first real entry into the premium sedan market. Once again, we start with the back seats, but this time with the driver. This is, of course, the type of car where you just want to be driven in and just relax in the back seats. The seats, speaking of which, are leather lined. It's got this nice black piping in the details here, quite like that. It's the little touches that count. The seat, when you first sit in it, is a little bit firm, but after a little while, it just actually provides you great support. It's kind of like how most people think that soft beds are more comfortable, but you wake up with a really bad backache. It just doesn't provide the support that you need while you're sleeping. Same thing with these seats. They may be firm at first, but they provide great support, great for long journeys. We have double paned windows insulating the cabin. Very little wind noise gets in, very little engine noise gets in as well. The only real noise you're going to be hearing in here are probably going to be from the tires. We have sunshades that come up automatically, up and down. It's great for protecting your skin from the sun. Very important, of course. These seats are heated, and all of that can be controlled through this center console right here. Now, this center console can be used to control things such as the radio. You can change your radio station, you can skip past songs, you can choose what type of input source, you can adjust the volume, you can even move the passenger seat forward to give yourself more legroom as well. You can adjust your climate control back here independent of the climate controls up front. Overall, it's just a really comfortable place to be, and it really checks off all the right boxes. In order to be a proper luxury car, the G90 also has to continue the theme of isolation, even here in the driver's seat. Normally on Clutch Kick, we review cars and we talk about the connectedness of the car. We talk about how the Miata has really direct steering, or that the BRZ has great brakes and great throttle response. All that is irrelevant here. We actually want the exact opposite here. So let's take a look at the steering. Very, very light effort. Almost a disconnected feeling. In fact, I would prefer if it was even more disconnected. I want to feel isolated from the road in this car. Suspension, very well damped as well. Very well controlled over bumps, like we're about to find out right here. Very dignified. Really irons out the bumps on the road. Despite that though, the car still handles well. So it feels like a boat, but it handles better than a boat. And it's kind of oxymoronic, but it's that right balance that you're looking for in a refined luxury car. The brakes are okay. They're soft, so that's good. It matches the theme of isolation, but they're actually not that good at stopping the car. So you have to actually press on the brakes a little harder than you expect, and that in return kind of spoils the luxury experience. The throttle, on the other hand, though, is very responsive. It's connected to a 3.3 liter twin turbo V6, making great torque and great horsepower as well. It gets a bit of a move on, but in a very smooth and refined manner, and that's exactly what this type of car should be all about. Now, even though this is the base V6 model, you still get a full array of standard driver's assistance features. You have blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning that will actually correct the steering if you're about to cross over the lane, or actually will even actively keep you in the lane as best as it can. Now, it's not very good for tight corners, but on long freeway trips, it's going to take away some of the stresses of constantly adjusting the steering wheel. All the warnings, the blind spot monitoring, the lane departure warning, all that actually shows up in the heads-up display, which is very useful. The lane departure warning, the adjustment, the assisted steering, that can be paired with the radar guided cruise control, which is a very smooth system. It follows the car in front pretty consistently. It doesn't slam on the brakes or suddenly accelerate or anything like that. So that paired with the assisted steering is really great for long distance travel. The G90 comes standard with a 17-speaker Lexicon 7.1 digital surround sound system. It's connected via USB, Bluetooth for auxiliary input, and has standard navigation as well. All these features are controlled by the 12.3-inch a high definition display, which is very clear, very easy to read, and has the display for the climate control as well, so you're not left guessing. It also has bi-xenon headlights that steer with the road ahead. It has heated and cooled front seats. Heated and cooled, again, can be available on the rear seats if you get the V8 model. It's got soft close doors. It's got 3 position memory seats and 2 position memory seats for the passenger side, which is obviously very necessary. It seems to have everything. And yet, somehow not. While the Genesis G90 covers all the basics, it's still missing a few features. Genesis claims the G90 competes with the Lexus LS, which means that by association, the G90 will be compared to things like the Mercedes S-Class and the BMW 7 Series. Those are cars that have features such as nighttime infrared cameras, self-parking, and panoramic sunroofs. In this segment, brand prestige is a huge factor, and it will be challenging for people to give up on the established luxury brands and take a chance with Genesis instead. And one more thing, let's take a look at the exterior styling. Now, there's nothing wrong with subtle. I like subtle. In fact, I think a lot of the customers that will be looking at cars like this like subtle as well. But subtle doesn't have to be boring, and the G90 is just a little bit boring. It's clear that Genesis played it safe with this one. It lacks presence. It lacks that little extra something that makes people come up to and say, wow. But none of this should detract from Hyundai's effort to differentiate the Genesis brand. The G90 may be a bit boring to look at, might be missing some high-tech features, it might be missing some of the small details, but it gets all the basics right. It's quiet, comfortable, refined, and beautifully made. It offers incredible value for money and is a valiant first effort. This is a new era for Hyundai, so in more ways than one, this is Genesis.